Hi, True Crew. How you doing? Welcome back to another episode. Thank you for tuning in. Coming at you today with a quick video on should you take naps, right? Are naps something that you should take? I recently started watching this docu-series on YouTube. I don't even know what it's called. I can't think of it right now. But something to do with Ayurvedic medication and health, right? Going back to using herbs and tonics and elixirs, whatever, to help you live longer, healthier lives versus, the standard medical practice that we have now of just over-the-counter drugs, prescription drugs. It was very interesting, and they brought up something to do with naps and how the only thing I don't like is they start saying time is a social construct. I've made something similar, a video similar to that before. I might have to remake it. I usually don't watch my videos when I remake them, so it could be the exact same, I'm not sure. But anyways, they talked about the power of naps and how all these other cultures know the power of napping, or the equivalent to, or something similar to if you take a nap, it just helps you live longer. But in reality, I would say in today's culture, that's not a true statement. And I would say simply based on myself, and I guess it also depends on your line of work, right? Because the majority of the time, if you're just cooped up in an office all day, I've said this before, people that seem to be wired and tired, right? It's simply the fact that you're tired. Like if you have a desk job, you're tired, yes, but you're only tired, you're mentally fatigued, right? You're not physically fatigued because you haven't done anything all day. You have done absolutely nothing to be tired. So in reality, you're mentally fatigued. It's the same equivalent to someone who works outdoors. Yeah, you might have, when I did landscaping forever, I did landscaping for 12 years. Yeah, you have to think quite a bit, but in reality, when you're designing paver patios, outdoor kitchens, things like that, but in reality, it's usually going to be just physical labor, right? So your body gets tired, but your brain is not tired. So in that sense, if you're a more of a manual labor type person, I would say yes, probably you need a nap. If you're somebody that just sits in an office all day, I would say probably not a nap. You're not really tired. You need to get out and stimulate your body, right? You need to force yourself to get up and go for a walk. Try to work out. Usually it only takes 5 minutes in the gym and you're pumped up, you've got your energy. It's rare you go to the gym 10 minutes into your workout, you don't feel like it, right? So that is the main point. And then for me, I went from landscaping to now working in the restaurant industry. And on my days off, or if I have a night shift instead of a day shift, I will tend to take that nap. Like if I have a day shift, I'll get up, maybe take a nap after work, wait for my wife to get home because I feel tired. But in reality, when I try to go to bed then, excuse me, I got a lot of phlegm. When I try to go to bed later on that night, I sleep horribly. So I have a watch right here, right? I have my Garmin watch that tracks my sleep. Tells me how much is light, how much is deep. It's usually just based on movement. I do toss and turn a lot. But in reality, since I've stopped taking naps during the day, or when I get off of work, or even with my wife, we'll sit down, we'll eat dinner, we'll sit on the couch and watch TV. I was falling asleep sometimes 7:30, 8 o'clock, falling asleep, and then get up at 10, 10:30, try to go back to sleep, and then I sleep like crap. So in reality, it's why sleep on the couch to force yourself to have to get up, to go somewhere else, move. You're kind of up, moving, you're trying to turn lights off, maybe brushing your teeth, doing all these interactive, awakening type things, and then it's hard to go back to sleep. Another thing also that might be beneficial for me is I stopped drinking coffee, and I had major headaches at the beginning. Even to this day, it's almost been 3 weeks, and I still get just minor headaches throughout the day. But I used to drink a pot a day, so maybe this is normal, maybe it's not. But I've noticed if I just fast and I do intermittent fasting, I don't get the headaches as much. But in reality, napping, it's always going to be specific to you as a person, right? Because in reality, when it comes down to it, we want to go back, they talked about tribalism. The tribes knew you needed a nap. Well, in reality, when you had a tribe, there were people that had to stay up all night to protect the tribe, right? So those are people that were up all night, and then they probably napped through the day. There are people that worked all day and did other things, and it was just a different lifestyle. It's not that, in this sense, it's not that time's a social construct. It's just in reality, if you want to open a business that sells food, majority of people are up during the day. They're not trying to eat at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's rare unless they're out partying, right? I mean, just in general, that's the way it goes. So it's not that time is a social construct, right? It's literally based off of the spinning of the earth and the sun. How is that a social construct? We didn't invent the sun and the way the earth spins. That's just the way things happen, right? We didn't invent time. Now, did we invent on what times of day probably humans decide to be more productive than others? Well, yeah, we did in that sense, right? But once again, you've got to just evolve with the changes. That's what makes us great as a species. So in reality, it comes down to it is what your work schedule is. What type of work do you have? Do you exercise? Do you not exercise? Do you eat right? Do you have kids? What is your basic time frame that you like to stay up and go to sleep? In reality, I've heard it said before too, if you have problems sleeping like I used to, well, a lot more, at least I'm getting more deep sleep according to the watch and the app, right? But if you have horrible sleep patterns, sometimes maybe you're the person that functions on less sleep, right? Because if you try to sleep for 9 hours, but you're tossing and turning all night, well, then why don't you try 8 hours? That doesn't mean you're a bad sleeper. Maybe that's too much sleep for you. But about 9 hours or 8 hours, 7 hours, 6 hours. Maybe you're more productive at 6 hours. You can go 6 hours and boom, you're hitting it perfect. You wake up, you feel good. Then as you get older, you might need more sleep, right? But naps, it's not just take one because you're tired. I'm a firm believer that you do not want to do that. Now, there was a time in my life where I would literally go home and, take a nap before I hit the gym. So, but that was something that I like to do. And then when it comes to if you are taking naps, you got to understand that taking a nap does not mean that you just close your eyes, go to sleep, and wake up when you wake up. Because the research out there shows that anything over like 15 to 20 minutes, maybe 25, is beneficial. Once you get over that, that's when it's really going to start having a negative effect on you. So for me, sometimes I found out it's more of that resting your eyes, right? Maybe that's because we're staring at screens all day, like I'm staring at one now, computer, TV, whatever. But sometimes it's just like that quick power nap. I'm someone that my wife will give me a hard time because I could fall asleep. You get me in bed, I'll be asleep within 5 minutes. No matter what, I'll fall asleep within 5 minutes. I'll probably wake up in 2 hours, but I just wake up, open my eyes, look around, and go back to sleep. It's just the way I am. But I have no problem falling asleep. My issue is staying asleep, right? So in reality, it's just understanding what's best for you, and sometimes it's just shortening those naps. Sometimes it's just closing your eyes, sitting there, and you just use it as a form of meditation, prayer. Turn the TV off, turn everything off, sit in silence. I set my alarm. I never take a nap more than 20 minutes. I set my alarm for my naps, and that's what I tell people. You need to set your alarm for your naps. You need to make sure that you get up. So things to think about when you're napping. Can it be beneficial to health? I'm sure it can. But if it's interfering with your sleep at night, then it doesn't matter. It's not beneficial in any way, shape, or form. And just in today's society, the way we live, the way businesses run, work hours are, you need to understand that you've got to utilize that time wisely. You've got to understand what's best for you. And in reality, sometimes it comes down to if you're putting your kids to bed at 8 because when they go to bed at 8, they're not as grumpy when you have to get them up at 6 in the morning. Maybe it's better you go to bed at 8 instead of 11. I don't know. You've got to figure it out for yourself. But once again, it's taking the time to experiment and figure it out. Because if you just keep doing the same thing over and over again, you're never going to get results. You're going to be unhappy, and you're just not going to enjoy life, period. So once again, I hope this helps. Don't forget to follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Google+. I'm not too active on that right now. But if you share and like these videos, I would be grateful.